So for this video, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make it so it's unprofessional. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what you're thinking. Oh, dude, you never make it professional. Yeah. But what I mean for today is we're gonna sit back. The windows are open. I want it to be like you're having a proper chat with somebody that you know. You know what I mean? I don't want it to feel like you're in some proper area. And what I would like to talk about is if you are ever worried or anxious about something and you've been putting it off for a long time, I would like to explain my own workaround for that. No, I would never say that I suffer from anxiety. There are moments when I become anxious, of course, as everybody does. Can you see that? Can you see my tan line there? Jesus Christ. Anyway, there are moments when I get anxious, and it's not about if you feel anxious, it's about how and if you let it affect you. When I was younger, I always wanted to travel. And then when I got to the age of being able to travel alone, I was very, very scared. I was 18 thinking, okay, I've got to go to these places. I've got to go and start a life or just try something, because why not? If you're almost certain that you're not going to die or, become very injured or bankrupt, then there's almost always a reason to do it. And, I would put these trips off for such a long time because I would go on my own. I didn't really go with my friends. I wanted to go for a long time, and they did not. They were sort of more up for the 2-week thing, which, if you're going to South America or Australia, then, you don't want to go for 2 weeks. You want to really explore the place. And, I would put it off so often. It's like, okay, well, we'll do it next week. And then next week comes and it's like, okay, well, we'll do it the week after. And you'll come up with an excuse. You'll say, well, I'm going to visit my grandparents in a week. So, I'll look for it after. Or I've got a one-off job. I've always been self-employed, so, I didn't really need to rely on a job. And the moment that you do it, you realize that for things to get better, they need to get worse. And now you can apply that to getting a new job, to ending a relationship that you're not happy with. But that is something that you need to realize, that things won't always just be on the up, and that sometimes they do need to get worse before they get better. And when I say worse in this context, it is you leaving home, you leaving your parents with just a backpack with your clothes. You end up in a place that you've never been to before. You don't know anybody here. No, this is the worst of it. And you know that what comes next will be the best of it. So, sometimes you need to say, fuck it. As long as you know that you'll be okay eventually, then you must definitely do it. And when it comes to, if you have ever wanted to go to, let's say, a boxing class, this is the biggest water bottle I have ever seen. I'll continue with my point in a second, just bear with me, please. If you've ever wanted to go to a boxing class, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, karate, whatever it may be, if you've never been to one of these classes before, you are almost certainly sure that you will be the worst one there, and you will get hurt the most. In theory, some of the best guys that I've seen in the gym, they are the best because they allow themselves to be hurt so often. If you're not up for being hurt, if you're not open to it, then you're not really going to progress. But I know a lot of people who have put off going to these martial arts classes because they just can't sort of stomach being bad at something. And a lot of people have this idea that they're pretty good fighters. And I've been going to these gyms for a few years, and often we'll get somebody who turns up and he's covered in tattoos, he's got the muscles, he's got the confidence, and then when he gets into it, he realizes that he perhaps is not the man that he had built himself up to be in his head. And that's a huge crush to the ego, and a lot of men don't like this. But, as I've said, for things to get better, they need to get worse. For you to become a better fighter, that's my glasses cleaner. So, they need to get worse. For you to become a better fighter, you need to be vulnerable. You need to put yourself in these situations where you are getting hurt, you are getting submitted, you are getting hit, because that is the only way that you will learn. You're not going to learn by watching these videos. You can pick up techniques and tips through the YouTube videos and such, but you need to be sparring, you need to be grappling, you need to be hitting the pads, you need to have hits coming towards you, and you never want to be the best in the gym. If you're the best in your gym, then that is good for your ego, but that is not good for your skill set. And we're not talking about being, world champion here. If you're a world champion, then surely you're just kind of making sure you remain on that level. But for the vast majority of us, there is always another level, and once you get past that first hurdle, you are already better than what you were before. When I went to my first jiu-jitsu class, I got absolutely battered. And my my little victory was that I took down this man who was maybe 5'6". I am 6'4", and he took me down many times. He submitted me every time, and it was a huge crush to my ego. But I knew that it surely could not get worse than that, and I'd learned quite a lot. So I went again and actually submitted somebody this time. And it was amazing. And you get covered in cuts on your toes, usually from rolling around in the cage. You get the cuts on your knees from diving into a takedown. And when you leave the class, you feel tough. You feel like you've done something, Like if I look at my foot now, I still have scars on my toes from the grappling. And no matter how much it hurts, the alternative is always worse. You might think that it's too late to start a new degree or to start learning something, but of course it's not. It's never ever too late to learn something new. The alternative is always worse. I know people who are in their 40s and they say, oh well, it's too late now for me to go to a boxing class. No, come on. Don't be daft. So what's the alternative? The best time to go was yesterday. The next best time is today. When I say yesterday, I mean any time in the past. And, people just put stuff off for so long. So what are you doing? I don't understand. We have such an opportunity here. If you are able-bodied, you are healthy, you have some free time in the afternoons and you have been putting something off, but you want to do it. You absolutely must. Before it's too late. Before it becomes I wish I did it. Okay. So I'm gonna end it here. But thank you so much for listening. I really do hope that some of my words will stick with you. Hopefully push you to do something that you've wanted to do.